Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Another punishment is handed out for a Rockford rapper's beating death. It means decades behind bars for one of the men responsible.
Recognizing the signs of crime is a key to stopping it, possibly saving lives. A Rockford agency has helped dozens of survivors, and community action could impact more.
School zone safety has Rockford parents concerned. One obvious warning sign for drivers isn't working, and moms and dads say that puts kids at risk. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. One of the men involved in a Rockford rapper's murder learns how long he'll spend behind bars.
Dakota Graff pled guilty to beating William Pickering to death in 2019. Today, Graff was sentenced to 35 years in prison, followed by 3 years probation. William Arzadi and Manuel Ramirez have also been sentenced for their roles in the death. Arzadi is still at large. A fourth suspect, Colton Kenneker's case, is pending. 23-year-old Pickering, also known as Billy the Kid, was reported missing that June. His body was found in rural Winnebago County 3 weeks later.
Advocates raise awareness for an issue that impacts almost every community in America, but is rarely talked about.
Human trafficking happens right here in the state line. Michelle Rave caught up with a community leader dedicated to stopping the issue and protecting survivors. Michelle, what did you learn?
About 40% of Rockford's violent crime is connected to domestic violence, but officials want people to know human trafficking is also impacting the community.
It's very, very important for us as a community to recognize what human trafficking is so that we can respond to it and spot it quickly.
Coming up with solutions to real-life problems, Jennifer Cachapalia is hoping to educate others about human trafficking.
We really wanted to talk about what human trafficking is and what it's not. So often we think that it is somebody being kidnapped or taken from someplace.
Cachapalia is the executive director of the Rockford's Mayor's Office on Domestic and Community Violence Prevention. She explains victims are often coerced or lied to and forced into prostitution or anything they don't want to do.
And the reality is the vast majority of survivors in our community, if not all of them, are really groomed through a process of relationship building. It will take a several week, if not month-long process to build a relationship with somebody.
There is help for survivors here in Rockford.
We know anecdotally that we see survivors expressing trafficking situations regularly. In the Family Peace Center, looking at our data between mid-August of this year and this month right now, we have onboarded 36 clients who present as human trafficking survivors. So I think it is fair to say as we continue to build a process to identify and investigate and respond to this crime, we are going to continue to see more survivors come forth.
Cachapalia adds it's going to take the entire community to combat this issue, but she's optimistic it can happen.
Good news, good news. This community has the resources. This community can end this, period. It's going to take a community outcry, and it's going to have to take a shift in priorities, but we can do it.
Cachapalia recommends reaching out to local officials like county board members and state lawmakers to find out what is being done to end human trafficking. Eric.
Thanks, Michelle. An Ogle County man's behind bars after police say he sexually assaulted someone. Officers arrested Michael Pierce Tuesday. The Oregon native faces aggravated criminal sexual assault charges. The 63-year-old's being held at the Ogle County Jail on $250,000 bond. A Loves Park office manager is accused of stealing $1 million from where she works. Police say Tammy Moore wrote checks from her employer to herself and her husband's company, forged the company owner's signature, and deposited the money into a personal bank account. Investigators say Moore would then delete the company's records of the checks. The alleged fraud took place between 2012 and October 2020. If convicted, Moore could spend 20 years behind bars. A court date has yet to be announced.
Kyle Rittenhouse's fate is still hanging in the balance as the jury deliberates for a third day. Jurors themselves became the focus of controversy today as they continue weighing whether Kyle Rittenhouse was the aggressor or acting in self-defense when he shot 3 men, killing 2 during turbulent protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin last year. Kenosha police are investigating a freelance MSNBC producer after he was caught allegedly following the jury bus as they left the courthouse Wednesday night. The judge banned the outlet from the courtroom for the duration of the trial.
That is a it's extremely serious matter and will be referred to the proper authorities for further action.
Two motions for a mistrial remain on the table, while the city remains on edge as they wait for a verdict. 5 schools in the area shifted to remote learning as a safety precaution.
Crosswalk lights at a Rockford school are broken. Froberg Elementary parents say the issue has them worried for student safety.
RPS 205 and the city have been made aware of the problem. Rachel Perry was at the school today during dismissal, and Rachel, you witnessed the issue firsthand.
Mimi and Eric, I was setting up my camera when I heard a loud gasp and a whistle blowing. The grandmother of a student was crossing 20th Street when a speeding vehicle just missed her. She tells me this isn't new and pleads with drivers to slow down.
I was walking through the crosswalk, and me and the guard, and this white truck just started flying, and he had to be doing at least 50. And he would have hit us if she wouldn't have blew and screamed, and I screamed.
Denise Albright is almost hit by a speeding driver while picking up her grandkid at Froberg Elementary School in Rockford. She says the crosswalk warning light, meant to keep kids safe going to and from school, isn't working.
How often do you see cars speeding like this?
All the time.
Really?
All the time. All the time.
Both safety lights on either side of the school are broken, meaning just a crossing guard and some cones are responsible for slowing drivers down. A witness to the incident says this happens all too often.
As I was getting out of the car, I noticed the crosswalk lady and another parent jumping while they were crossing the street to avoid a car hitting them.
Soy Detweiler doesn't feel safe picking up or dropping off her 2 kids.
Because cars do speed through this road, even during school days, for pickup and drop off.
Do you think that those lights not working is what's kind of causing that?
I think it is, but also it never stopped them before. I just think we need patrols out here or a cop during drop off and pickup for everyone's safety.
Soy and Denise have this message for drivers.
Just slow down, please, everybody. Our kids and parents, just slow down.
Slow down. There's children here.
I did reach out to both RPS and the city about the crosswalk lights. An RPS spokesperson says the city is the one responsible for them. A representative for the city tells me, quote, "We have identified an issue and are working to get it repaired today." Eric?
Thanks, Rachel. A local nonprofit hopes people will be inspired to volunteer during the season of giving. Rockford Rescue Mission urgently needs help in its kitchen. As the weather gets colder, more people are lining up for food. The mission serves about 400 meals a day. Administrators are asking for volunteers to prepare and serve food, set tables, and clean up. But the need doesn't end there.
If people aren't able to come volunteer here at the mission in our food service department, there's always an opportunity to donate those items, especially right now where there's a big need for them here at the mission. Again, those are slotted, compartmentalized trays, disposable cups, disposable utensils.
Find links to sign up to volunteer or donate to Rockford Rescue Mission using the My State Line app. Turkey Day is exactly a week away, and a local food pantry is making sure everyone is stocked up on Thanksgiving dinner essentials.
B1 Pantry in Boone County hosted the ingredient giveaway. Hundreds of families were able to get help for the holiday. The B1 Pantry had 500 Turkey Day boxes to hand out. It all started 4 years ago, just serving 50 families, and it's now grown into this. The pantry is experiencing the same problems many people are, rising food costs. But they were determined to make sure anyone in Boone County was packed with all the necessary Thanksgiving food, stocking them up for a week. Some waited in line for hours before the giveaway started. One person told us she originally wasn't going to come out, but had a change of heart.
I actually do sit here 2 hours, but everyone is so sweet and generous, helpful, never an attitude. And it does mean a lot. It helps feed my kids because times can be tough.
Coming up tonight at 6, hear from the volunteers on what this means to them as well as the community. And this was just one of several Thanksgiving dinners being handed out today. Harlem Roscoe firefighters are also giving back to their community. Senior citizens had the chance to drive through the fire station and pick up a free hot meal. That included turkey, dressing, potatoes, veggies, and dessert. The Fire Protection District hosts the event with the Roscoe Lions Club each year. Just like in 2020, this year's giveaway was done drive-through style to keep those at risk for COVID safe.
Same format, we prepared the food and then they would just drive through. We'd give them their meal in a carry-out dish and they'd go home and eat it amongst friends or family. I thank the community for participating. It's an honor to be able to do this.
Firefighters fed over 600 senior citizens at the event.
Well, good evening, everyone. It was a cold and windy day for us today, and we're talking about cold conditions tonight, but lighter wind out there. Here's a look at the planner. It shows that we'll have temperatures as we head towards 6 p.m. in the lower 30s, and then eventually we'll be down toward the mid-20s with a clearing sky, and that'll set the stage for great viewing of the lunar eclipse. Now, here's a look at downtown Rockford. We're talking about quieter conditions now compared to earlier, but we are still dealing with some wind out there. Wind still at times blowing above 20 miles per hour. But as we talk about temperatures, it is cold out there. Temperatures at 33 degrees in Rockford at this hour, 33 in Freeport, but 31 in Monroe and Galena. So if you are headed out this evening, you will need a warm jacket. Now, over the last hour or so, we have reports in from our weather watchers. Bob reported a temperature of 32 degrees, and in South Beloit, Ben reported a temperature of 32 degrees as well. And Ken also reported a temperature in the low 30s at 33 in Belvedere, Illinois. So we've been chilly all day, and when we talk about the wind out there, that made it feel even colder. We still have wind for places like Monroe above 20 miles per hour. For Rockford, close to 20 miles per hour. So the wind will impact you if you are stepping out this evening. And when you factor in the wind with the temperature, you get the wind chill, and we have wind chills right now in the lower 20s. So a warm jacket, some gloves, and a hat will come in handy this evening for any outdoor plans. Now, we also saw some light snow showers throughout the day today, and we still have some of that showing up on the radar, but I think for the most part, we are dry at the surface. We're not expecting any serious accumulations, and it's all due in part, the snow at least, is due in part to a trough that's been sweeping across our region. Factoring that with the sunshine and creating some mixing in the atmosphere, well, that led to some snow falling across parts of our region, but again, no significant accumulation. Now, for us, we're looking at high pressure building in from the west. That will help clear us out as this trough continues to move east, and so we are talking about that high building east, but quieter weather for tonight and clearer conditions across our region as well. So if you love looking at stars and the moon, tonight is definitely the night. As we get toward midnight, we'll see visibility, or really sky conditions, pretty clear, and it's not until 6 a.m. that we start to see a few more clouds start to push in from the west. Now, we've been showing you this graphic over the past couple of days, and tonight into tomorrow is really the time frame. We're talking about 1 a.m. With the start of that partial lunar eclipse. Its maximum extent will reach right around 3 a.m. Now, this eclipse is special because it's really one of the longest since the 15th century. So that's a pretty long time. Close to 600 years ago was the last time we had an eclipse longer than that. But as we focus back in on temperatures, if you are planning to be out looking at the moon, yeah, it'll be cold, so you want to dress appropriately. Definitely bundle up for any kids headed out to look at the moon. But as we talk about the afternoon, well, we're looking at temperatures Friday approaching 40 degrees. We get even warmer as we head towards Saturday in the low 50s. But as we look ahead to the 7-day, I do want to point out some things. First, we say dry through Saturday, but it does look like late in the day we could see some snow showers develop as colder air pushes in behind the front. And then as we look toward Monday, we will be cold. Temperatures struggling to reach 32 degrees during the day, and then we're in the teens Monday evening. Looking at Wednesday, we have rain out there, and then Thanksgiving Day, as of now, we're dry. Temperatures near 40.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with Sports Director Scott Leber.
A worst-to-first scenario for NIU's football team this season seemed almost unthinkable in August, but it has happened. The Huskies were 0-6 in the short season last fall. Now they're 8-3 overall and 6-1 in the MAC, and they are the MAC West champions. They clinched the West last night with another tight win in Buffalo. So how have they done it? Well, first, it helps that the MAC West and the MAC as a whole doesn't have a super team this year like some previous NIU teams or the P.J. Fleck Western Michigan team of a few years ago. That's a factor. But more than that, what has worked for the Huskies is 2 strong recruiting classes, and what has put them over the top this year were 2 transfers, quarterback Rocky Lombardi from Michigan State and running back Clint Ratkovich from Western Illinois. They have been impact players on the field and impact leaders. Guys who have set the tone of believing this team could win. What's remarkable is the Huskies have made this turnaround despite key injuries. Their best receiver, Tyrese Ritchie's been out for several weeks. So is their best running back, Harrison Whaley. and maybe their best defensive back, Devin Lafayette. He went down in the season opener. And the Huskies are the second youngest team in major college football. They're a great story, and they're not done yet. They have 3 more games to go. In the NFL's Thursday night football game tonight, the Patriots take on the Falcons. The Patriots just might be the best team in the AFC right now. I watched them dismantle the Browns last Sunday, and let me just say, I love Mac Jones. I was impressed with him coming out of Alabama. I wanted the Bears to draft him. They, of course, traded up and took Justin Fields, and I like that too. But I think Mac Jones is Tom Brady 2.0. He's great at reading defenses and knowing where to go with the football, and then he releases the ball quickly and puts it on the money. He doesn't have the flash of Patrick Mahomes or a few other guys, but I can foresee Mac Jones winning a lot of very big football games, perhaps as soon as this year. Lastly, Major League Baseball is handing out the league's MVPs right now. Shohei Ohtani is my choice as the best player in all of baseball this year. What he did hitting and pitching has never been done before unless you go back to Babe Ruth. I thought the most amazing seasons I'd seen in baseball were the ones Barry Bonds had with the Giants. Those are now greatly tainted. So what Ohtani did this year might now be #1 on my list. Too bad he plays out west and we don't get to see more of him. That's my take. We'll be right back.
Marcus's last weather check is up in just a few seconds.
But first, here's a look at what's to come on News Nation tonight.
A possible Russian invasion of Ukraine and China's hypersonic missile is worse than we thought. What the potential threats from overseas mean for our national security. Plus, why there may be hope on the horizon for the president's approval numbers. Now here's Dan Abrams.
Thanks, Leland. Tonight on Dan Abrams Live on News Nation. Day 3 of deliberations in the Kyle Rittenhouse case begins with a judge banning a major TV network from the courtroom. How a producer crossed the line with jurors. That's tonight on Dan Abrams Live.
That's all coming up tonight on the fastest growing cable news network in America, News Nation. Available on the cable and satellite stations you see here. You can also head to newsnation.com.
And as we take a look at the first Warren Interactive Radar, we see snow flurries and showers out there, but a lot of that not reaching the ground. But we will be drying out and turning colder. Tonight, temperatures down to 20 degrees, and the 7-day shows that, well, we stay chilly through Friday, but then Saturday we reach above normal. And we're looking at isolated rain and snow chances Sunday, much colder for the start of the holiday week.
All right, thanks, Marcus.
And thank you for spending some of your time with us. Stay safe.